Morning class, I'm Stephanie Davis. My example of unethical behavior in the entertainment industry is the phone hacking scandal involved with Rupert Murdoch and his parent company, News Corp. Rupert Murdoch is a media mogul. He is ranked the world's second largest media conglomerate and the 24th most powerful person in the world, according to Forbes. He was born in Australia and has done most of his business in Britain, but in 1985 he became a naturalized United States citizen in order to expand his companies into the U.S. market. As founder, chairman, and CEO of News Corp, Murdoch would oversee many other affiliated companies in both the United States and other countries. Before becoming a U.S. citizen, Murdoch was most known for publications like News Limited, News of the World, The Economist, and Australia's first national daily newspaper, The Australian. Companies he took over or started in the United States may sound more familiar. We've all heard of 20th Century Fox and MySpace, right? News Corp owns both. And how about Star Magazine? He created it. Murdoch bought out the New York Post in 1976, and in 2007 he acquired Dow Jones, which gave him rights to a list of other publications, including the Wall Street Journal. With power comes problems, and as Murdoch continued to gain assets, these problems started surfacing. Investigations began in 2005 at Murdoch's Britain headquarters, with accusations of bribery and that Murdoch and his executive staff were covering up widespread wrongdoing within the company. This began when subsidiaries of News Corp were accused of phone hacking relevant individuals and to chase down the inside scoop. Thousands of private phone messages and voicemails were obtained illegally. A list of substantial people were involved in this scandal, such as British actors Hugh Grant and Jude Law, as well as Prince William, Prince Harry, and other members of royal families. It's presumed that reporters also paid off Queen Elizabeth II's bodyguards in exchange for personal information. Although it is disturbing to think about, investigations were also looking into the hacking of 9/11 victims' family members. If that wasn't enough, editor Rebekah Brooks, who was a close confidant of Murdoch, was caught disposing of documents and computers at the Britain headquarters, which automatically made her guilty for interfering with an investigation and concealing materials for detectives. Brooks announced her resignation not long after. Rupert Murdoch's response to this scandal is not one that received much respect. He passed the blame and played a victim role, stating that he hadn't had much involvement with the News of the World publication in recent years. His response reads, "I think the senior executives were all misinformed and shielded from anything that was going on there," he said, adding that he blamed one or two unnamed people for that. "There's no question in my mind that maybe even the editor, but certainly beyond that, someone took charge of a cover-up, and we are all victims of that." He goes on to admit that there has been a cover-up at the News of the World, but stuck by his innocence. This very brief letter is what he released to the press as an apology. The 5-year scandal has been costly and embarrassing. Police investigating hacking and bribery allegations have arrested 24 of his past and present staff. Murdoch has paid out millions to settle dozens of lawsuits from hacking victims, and the once haughty mogul has repeatedly declared himself humbled. Just 2 days ago, on May 15, 2012, Rebekah Brooks was charged with 3 counts of trying to obstruct justice. Her husband, Charlie, and 4 of her former colleagues were also charged with 2 counts each of conspiracy to pervert the course of justice. These are the first charges to be filed, so Murdoch still awaits his verdict. However, a parliamentary panel has already released a report concluding that Murdoch has exhibited willful blindness to what has been going on and is unfit to run such a huge international company. From an ethical standpoint, I characterize this behavior as greed. From a social standpoint, I see it as knowingly playing stupid and as the single decision that ruined Murdoch's career. If News Corp was my company, this scandal would never been an issue, and if it was, I would have handled it much differently, according to Murdoch's dry, brief, and unremorseful response. Morning class, I'm Stephanie Davis. My example of